And welcome aboard to my presentation. I titled it called Trading the Death Star. This is the only stock potentially that you need to trade for the rest of your life. And I know that sounds a little odd, and that goes against maybe everything you've taught in investing, but it's an absolute fact, and we're going to talk about that. Obviously, I have kids. 2 boys and a girl, and they're Star Wars nerds. So if you don't know the story of the Death Star, the Darth Vader and those bad guys built that thing up, a bunch of teenagers in the aluminum Falcon, right? Blew it up, but then they rebuilt it. The thing is indestructible. Welcome aboard. I'm not giving anybody individual investment advice. Make sure you talk to a registered investment advisor or broker dealer before you place any trades. Options do involve risk. Real quick question, since I come from Top Gun Options and obviously a military-themed company, financial training company, I have a quick question for all the attendees and hundreds of folks in here. It's a good crowd. Which fighter aircraft would you rather fly? I'm going to give you 2 choices. Here's choice A. Choice A is an F-4 Phantom. Take a look at that cockpit right there. How's that look? Looks a little busy, doesn't it? There's over 300 switches and
Matt,
dials.
We're seeing your browser right now. Stock puts.
Okay, let's try sharing. Let me share. Let's make sure we got this. You should see, I want the whole screen here. How about now?
Perfect.
Yeah, now I see.
Okay, awesome. So here we go. There you go, F-4 Phantom. 300 switches and dials in that aircraft. As you can most likely tell, the pilot spent a lot of time what we call heads down or in the cockpit looking at all this stuff, right? Instead of looking out at enemy aircraft or surface air missiles or AAA anti-aircraft artillery. So a very labor-intensive aircraft. Look at that. I mean, it just overwhelming to me. So would you rather fly that or would you rather fly that? Take a look at that cockpit. Does anybody see any what we call steam gauges in there? You don't see one. 2 flat panel displays. That's it, folks. This is the F-35, the newest fighter aircraft in the United States inventory. It's the Joint Strike Fighter. Look at that, 2 flat panel displays. We call this the Wonder Woman jet. I mean, this jet is so smart, folks, that it actually limits the amount of information that it displays to the pilot at any given portion of a flight, because the jet's smart enough to go, you know what, they just don't need to know that at this point, the hydraulics or the fuel or any of that stuff. I got that. I'll monitor that. The pilot needs to see the important things. So clearly, that's the aircraft you would rather fly. Don't get me wrong, the F-4, cool looking airplane, monster, you know, just fast and, you know, just a hunkin' piece of steel. But if you want to live and you want to do some damage, and deliver serious justice, you want to fly the F-35. So make sure you silence all those distractions, the electronic nicotine, because you've never heard what I'm about to tell you about investing. I guarantee you've never heard this about investing that I'm going to tell you in our time together. I promise I'm going to give you an up-to-date intelligence brief. Why? Because you need an up-to-date intelligence brief. Folks, one of the mottos here at Top Gun Options is trading is combat. Think about it. Trading is a form of combat. Somebody's going to win and somebody's not. So why wouldn't you use the same methodologies that we used over the skies of Iraq to trade? Show you the only, you heard me, only stock you need to own, or a good substitute to trade if the stock is a little pricey. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Whiz. I flew the FA-18 Hornet for the United States Navy for about 15 years, graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School, which many of you know is Top Gun. Can't wait for Maverick to come out. I think they pushed it back to December. And also flew a couple combat sorties over Iraq. So essentially went from the cockpit to the trading pit. How did that happen? Well, as a young naval aviator learning how to fly and fight the Hornet, I taught myself how to trade stocks back in the early, now really date myself, early 90s. And a buddy of mine was a financial planner before he joined the Navy and wanted to serve his country. And he looked at me, you know, calling USAA on the phone and buying stocks. And he's like, why aren't you trading options? I'm like, I don't even know what an option is. Or I heard that they sound scary. He took me to lunch. Hour later, I never looked back. never bought another stock if needed to in my life because of options. But I applied everything I was learning flying a fighter jet to the stock and options trading I was doing. Having a strategy, implementing tactics, being disciplined, knowing when to get out of a good or bad situation before it got any worse. And I applied that to my trading with incredible results. You don't join the Navy to get rich, folks, period. I know that might be shocking news to you, but you don't join the Navy to get rich. You join the Navy to serve your country, and I did that. But I was always interested in finance in the background and knew that I wanted to devote some of my time to that. Well, guess what happened to me? My returns, my results were so good that I popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage equity options trading firms in the world, headquartered right there. That's the intersection of Jackson and LaSalle. This is the Chicago Board of Trade. Beautiful building. That was our trading floor. You see all those big, beautiful vertical windows. I had an absolute blast when I was there. Little old retail trader all the way up to the big leagues, right? I helped build a hedge fund when I was there. I helped build the retail brokerage called Options House when I was there, and I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you I felt like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places, right? Believe it or not, folks, you are the smart money. The smart money ain't necessarily that smart. They put their pants or their skirt on one leg or both legs at a time, like just like we do, folks. And I got to see behind the curtain. Wasn't anything super special about anybody on Wall Street. And as a matter of fact, I'd say the exact opposite. I couldn't. Let's say I left for a reason and wanted to go out and do this on my own and do what we say, what in the military we call it putting the ladder down, right? Whenever you made it, you got to go to Top Gun or you got a higher rank or something cool happened, you put the ladder down and you help your buddies. So while I was there as the managing director of strategy, and then was also the founder and CEO of the Options News Network, ONN.TV. We went from essentially me to 80,000 traders, subscribers in a year. How? Because we were essentially the CNBC for options. We gave a behind-the-scenes look at what was going on in the options market, unusual activity, who's buying, who's selling, what's going on, and had an absolute blast doing that. Unfortunately, no offense to anybody from Chicago or the Midwest, I'm a Navy guy, man. I need a beach. I need sand. I need an ocean, and Lake Michigan just didn't cut it for me. So about after 3-4 years up there, we decided, this was like one of our last family pictures up there in Chicago. Decided to do this on my own. This ain't rocket surgery. Decided to move down here to God's Waiting Room, Boca Raton, Florida. So obviously, clearly, that's an older picture. This young man right here is 20 years old, goes to the Norwich University in Vermont. He's in the Corps of Cadets, and apparently I dropped him on his head when he was a kid because he wants to fly for the Marine Corps. That's my son, Jack. He is a freshman, well, almost now a sophomore, I guess, in high school. Wants to go to the United States Naval Academy and fly for the Navy. So we might have a Navy and a Marine pilot going at each other eventually. And then Keely Grace is 12 going on 29, and she's not allowed to leave the house. And then that's my beautiful bride, and then that is me. So that's a little bit about my background and how we got to where we are. Whenever you come to these things, if you really don't know who the dude or the lady is, I just don't understand how you can jump in an airplane and learn how to fly from them. So that's a little bit about my background personally and also professionally. Top Gun Options, founded 10 years ago. And it's been an absolute blast. We've traded or trained over 10,000 folks during that time. Okay, so oops, let me go back to here. So this is going to be shocking to you. You ready for this? This is, or it's not going to be shocking. Wall Street is lying to you. Now, I know many of you probably didn't just fall out of your chair, but here's what they're lying about. Have you ever heard you can't put all your eggs in one basket? You must diversify. Diversification is important, and don't put I mean, seriously, it's day one of investing school, right? Or picking up anything about investing. This is screamed at in your face. You have got to diversify. That's a lie. It's one of the biggest investing lies ever, right? You want to know why? That dude. You know why diversification was so important? Commissions. I remember when we were dating, but when I was dating my soon-to-be bride, Ann Taylor was, you know, the big place back then, and I paid the American Express bill. Those were the first two stocks I owned. And I remember brokers calling me like, oh, well, if you like that, you should like this, and why don't you buy this? And it's called churn, ladies and gentlemen. Brokers made a ton of commissions off of putting you in 90 different stocks, didn't they? I still have like back in the day, it was like a carbon copy they sent in the mail of your trade receipt. It was like $250. Commissions, churn. These people wanted you in as many names as possible because they made money. You know what diversification, or who diversification is for? Somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. Who said that? Not me, somebody smarter than me. Diversification is a protection against ignorance. It makes very little sense for those who know what they're doing. Why would you diversify into a bunch of different names? This is the only name that you need to be in, period. What? That makes no sense to me and does not compute. Oh, yeah? Take a look at Amazon's revenue growth. It's 30% a year, ladies and gentlemen. Show me another company that looks like that. Show me another company that's in absolutely everything, right? So, but before we, I really get into all that stuff, let's talk about the threats. What are the risks of trading, just in this case, Amazon or a solo stock? Well, anybody remember this company? Lehman Brothers. How about Bear Stearns, right? So the risk of just trading a single stock, ladies and gentlemen, is it can go to zero. Everybody knows Jim Cramer, right? Smart guy, right? Bear Stearns is a steal at $70. You're an idiot if you don't buy Bear Stearns here at 70. 2 days later, it was at zero. Good call, Jimmy. Anybody remember these companies? Pets.com, Enron. Folks, the graveyard of stocks that have gone to zero is pretty damn full. I get that. But does anybody, can you see a common thread between just those four quick examples? They didn't own anything. What did Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers own? Nothing. Paper, trades. What did Pets.com own? A dirty sock puppet and a domain name. Enron, a middleman of electricity. Hell, they didn't even own the building they were in. Amazon owns everything. Amazon Web Services, Amazon. I'll never forget. 5-6 years ago at Top Gun Option, I used to fly for FedEx. I hated it. Hated the night flying. It was miserable. Anyway, I still had some buddies there. Buddy in corporate called me. He's like, dude, I just saw across my desk that Jeff Bezos is leasing 5 airplanes. I'm like, that crazy son of a bitch, he's going to do it. He's going to build his own FedEx, UPS, US Postal Service, isn't he? Amazon owns, how many warehouses do they own around the world? They own things, right? So what is another risk to just trading Amazon? That guy, right? Well, not really. What happened 2 years ago? Donald Trump woke up, or maybe he didn't even go to bed that night, but he grabbed his cell phone and he took a flamethrower to Jeff Bezos, Amazon. They're screwing the post office and this and that and free ride, and stick it to Jeff Bezos and Amazon. You know what Jeff Bezos did? Nothing. He was as quiet as a church mouse and just kept doing what he was doing, building a massive hub between Louisville and Memphis, which is where UPS and FedEx headquarters are. He didn't say a word. So for all the bluster, nothing happened. Well, not really, Whiz. What happened recently? U.S. puts Amazon foreign websites on listed platforms blamed for facilitating privacy. Missouri senator wants DOJ to open criminal probe of Amazon. Amazon, Target, FedEx workers strike. Hey, man, I get it. Right? And there's an FTC investigation into Amazon, Google. But ladies and gentlemen, if you know the history of how the FTC works, it will not happen in my lifetime Well, the government might break up Amazon. Do you know how long it would take to even get to that opinion? Let alone, Jeff Bezos has enough attorneys in his couch that he would fight that until his last breath. It's not going to happen, folks. Look at Microsoft or Standard Oil. 5, 10, 15 years it takes for the government to do something even close to what, the potential threat would be, right? So as a good fighter pilot, as a good trader, I brief you on the threats, but then we also take a look at what the reality of it is. And listen to this, folks. When you do the math, I've done the math. If you broke off Amazon Web Services, Amazon Air, Amazon Warehouses, Amazon Ground, if you broke it up into its individual pieces, Amazon, it's worth more, ladies and gentlemen, as broken up than it ever is together. So the government it wouldn't be smart. So anyway, now, at the end of the day, I love telling folks at Top Gun Options I wear 2 suits. I'll tell you how I feel as an American, and this and that, like the workers striking, and I can't believe Jeff, they're not wearing any PPE in the warehouses, and he's only paying them $17. I'll tell you how I feel as an American, and then I'm going to throw that Armani suit on, and I'm going to tell you I don't care. When what was it, like 300 workers in New York went on strike with Amazon, or like did a walkout, they fired all of them. That was brilliant. It was awesome. Good. There's 40 million Americans out of work. You're fired. We'll find more. That's Gordon Gekko talking, folks. If you don't know, the references from the movie Wall Street. But me as an American, I'll tell you exactly how I feel. So just wanted to give you that quick reference. I'm going to tell you how I feel as an American, and I'm going to tell you how I feel as Gordon Gekko and a portfolio manager. Now, what are the benefits? If I just sufficiently scared you enough to go, dude, I'm not just, well, what are the benefits? Ladies and gentlemen, you trade the same name, and you potentially profit no matter which way Amazon goes, up, down, or sideways. As an options trader, folks, I can potentially profit no matter which way it goes. Okay? You stay focused on the news and events that impact Amazon instead of a ton of stocks and ETFs. You become an expert. You reduce time spent in other positions. I got to tell you, I got a buddy who's an Apple market maker. The dude doesn't know a stock market exists. What? I'm not kidding you. Do you think he cares about the price of gold, oil? He doesn't care about anything but Apple. Do you know how nice his life is? I see retail. I'm going to use my buddy down here as an example, Doc. My buddy Doc, the plastic surgeon, of course, in Boca Raton. He's your stereotypical Boca Raton plastic surgeon. Anyway, I go meet him at Starbucks. He boots up his computer. He logs into his brokerage account. He flips the computer around towards me. I about fell out of my chair. You ready for this, folks? 33 positions. What? 33 positions in his portfolio. He started going through them. Well, I think that's a pot stock. I'm not sure what that one is. Well, this one, I don't know. I got in that a couple of years ago. I'm just waiting for it to come back, and maybe I'll dump it. I'm like, all right, dude, stop. Enough. Stop talking. You're done. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what you want to fly, not some F4 fan with 33. I guarantee you, out of the hundreds of people in this room, many of you have a bunch of stuff in your portfolio that how can you be, you're essentially a jack of all trades and master of none. Simplify, folks. Fly that F-35. Don't be that. Yeah, exactly. A bunch of people that's exactly right. Somebody explain to me. This is why I asked you at the beginning of this presentation, which one would you rather fly? The answer is simple. I mean, I'm like, Doc, dude, you work 8 to 10 hour days, office hours, you're in surgery. He's like, well, in between, patients or surgeries, I'm like on my phone trying to look at my E-Trade platform. I'm like, dude, you're going to get killed. You're going to get shot down by a MiG. You have no idea what you're doing. Simplify. Now, for all of you sitting there going, I get it. I get this. This is cool. But it just does not. I've been too indoctrinated. Whiz does not compute. I need to diversify. I'm going to hook you up with your need to diversify. XLY. What is the XLY, folks? It's an ETF. Oh, guess what the largest holding of this ETF is? Somebody take a look at the top. Amazon is 25% of this ETF. So if you're sitting there going, still must diversify, does not compute, Amazon, Home Depot, McDonald's, Nike, Starbucks, Lowe's, Bookings, TJX, Target, General Motors. The other reason why we trade XLY in this service that I'm going to talk to you about is because Amazon's a what, $2,400 stock right now. Even buying one contract might not be too cheap. The XLY, what is it, $120 ETF or whatever, we'll take a look at in a couple minutes. So for all of you who love what I'm saying, and now you're going to love it even more, you can diversify by trading XLY. And it's a good proxy for Amazon, and we'll take a look at that in a couple minutes. How do we target Amazon and XLY for max profit? Folks, this ain't rocket surgery. What do we do? Step one, when you become a member, every Monday at 2 p.m. is when we do our solo Amazon brief. I'm going to teach you how to establish what we call a base position. What the hell does that mean? That means we're going to hop in that F-35. We're going to fly out to, call it the fall, and establish a base position, long-term bullish on XLY and Amazon. Why? Folks, what happens in October, November, December? What did you see this year? Ho, 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 Santa Claus rally. And it seems like every year Amazon reports that they bought Christmas, that they own it. Every year Amazon destroys Christmas. So I'm going to teach you how to establish what I call a base position, a seasonal position. You got it, Kathy, shopping. It's the Santa Claus rally. So I'm going to show you two tactics to establish that. It's kind of like a beachhead, right? Let's talk marine here. We're going to establish a beachhead with synthetic stock and long call diagonals. Guess what's in parentheses? Protective puts. Always protect that flank. I never went flying in the F-18 Hornet without an ejection seat, right? Always, always, always had an ejection seat. After we get that base position established, then what do? We end up trading the front months. I'll show you a live trade right now in a couple minutes that we're in I'm probably going to close right here in front of you for a one-day profit. We trade the front months. If you're sitting there wondering what the front month is, you're sitting in it. May, June, July. Those we're in the front months. If Amazon and XLY are going up, what do? Bullish spreads or buy some calls. What if it's going down? We'll buy some bear spreads, sell some front month calls. What if it's channeling or just chopping sideways? We do what's called an iron condor. That's what we do, folks. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over and pull up our trading platform. Okay. All right, let's make sure everybody can see my trading screen, right? Okay, so wow, look at this. So men lie, numbers don't, right? Let's take a look at yesterday. This is yesterday. This is 5/18. 5/18 at 1:46 p.m. I did a bull put spread on Amazon, 30 contracts. The 23.85, 23.80 bull put spread filled at $1.35. Today it is up 74%, almost $3,000 in a day. Fan-freaking-tastic. And I'm going to close it. Why? Because pigs get slaughtered, right? Pigs get slaughtered. You're only seeing your PowerPoint. Hold on. Let me share. Oh, there it is. Okay. So here we go. Everybody's, we're good to go now, right? This share thing on Zoom sucks. All right. So you should all be seeing my chart, right? Okay. So there it is. Nice little, let's go to Amazon. And then I'll show you the trade here. Here you go. So account, orders. This is yesterday, 5/18 at 1:46. Sell 30 of the 23.85, 23.80 bull put spread. I got filled at $1.35. Now here's what I wanted to show you. There you go. 74%. That's $3,000 in a day. Wow. What? Steve Miller go on, take the money and run? Let's throw in an order for, I'm not going to give the market makers that much. Come hit me at 30 cents. Look at that. That's a 1-day profit, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. Okay, but let's go to Amazon in general, and let's talk about potentially a new one, a new trade here. Look at this chart. This is Amazon. Look at this gap move. This is earnings over here. But this is, let me give you a little bit of a poor man's technical analysis here. So that's a gap move. This line right here is half the gap. What did Amazon do? It didn't even fill the gap. It kind of came back a little down to it and hasn't looked back. That is an incredibly bullish technical analysis right there. A little bit of a poor man's technical analysis. Well, let me annotate. Let me clear this stuff. So absolutely could not be more bullish on Amazon. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my opinion, and you can write this down. What are we at? 24.78 right now. Look at this. We are getting ready to pop right there. What is that? 24.80. 24.80. We are 2 points away from Amazon being at all-time highs. Now, if you're sitting here going, Whiz, I already missed that. Ladies and gentlemen, Amazon is a $3,000 stock by Christmas. You can write down the date and time that I told you that. We have people in this service who did get into Amazon kind of down at the bottom here, man. $1,700, $1,800. It hasn't looked back. As a matter of fact, the Wall Street Journal had an article the other day that said Amazon, you know, Walmart had great earnings today too, but Amazon, love it or hate it, this is why I call it the Death Star, right? Amazon, ladies and gentlemen, has more or less used this coronavirus pandemic to become even bigger and badder. My God, everything's going, needless markup, JCPenney, your local hardware store, you name it, it's going out of business or is out of business or isn't going to return. I feel bad, man. Again, Lieutenant Buckley in a flight suit. I feel awful. I've tried to support my, you know, instead of going to Starbucks, I go to the local coffee lady. I'm that guy. I try and support as much as I can the local folks, but with the way we were locked down for the past 2 months, I got to be honest with you, man. I ran through Amazon Prime like a drunken sailor, and I know exactly how a drunken sailor acts. So if you're sitting there going, dude, I missed this rally, you didn't if it's a $3,000 stock in a couple months. So a couple things we could do. First thing we could do, well, and I'll tell you how to join in a couple minutes here. This is our lowest cost service. This is a great entry price that I'm hooking David up with. So we could do a couple things. We could hop in our Joint Strike Fighter and fly out to the fall and get bullish. Even if you, so do me a favor and write this down right here. I'm not kidding. In my smartphone, I get calendar reminders all the time. On October 1st, it's on repeat forever. Hopefully I live forever. Not going to happen. But write this down, like on October 1st in your smartphone. Write something like this: seasonal trades. What do I mean by that? There, every year, I've been doing, you ready for, now I'm going to date myself. I've been doing this for 28 years. I started investing as an ensign. I graduated from college, went down to Naval Air Station Key West, and I bought my first mutual fund. I've been doing this for 28 years. Okay? Seasonal trades are what? You can write these down. Even though this is called Solo Amazon, I'm going to hook you up with what I do. Amazon, XLY, obviously, XRT, and V. Those, you just got this for free. Amazon and XLY, that's a no-brainer. XRT, folks, is the retail ETF, and V is Visa. Here's your nice little Kwanzaa, Christmas, winter solstice, whatever you celebrate gift from Uncle Whiz today. I get long, I buy calls, and October 1st is a good heads up, right? Does everybody remember what happened last October 4th in this market? We never looked back until Corona crash. So last October through the middle of January of this year was that. There was a lot of reasons for it. The Fed. There was also another F word, FOMO, fear of missing out. stock buybacks, a lot of stuff. But I'm telling you, it is almost like clock. Of course, this year it won't happen and you'll hate me. Kidding. It's like it's calendar work, folks. Every year I put my seasonal trades on and they do fantastic. You ever notice, I mean, even under the Obama administration when we didn't have some super rally years, we still, ladies and gentlemen, it really seemed, even when they warned, like, oh, this Christmas is going to be tough, even Amazon's starting to turn into Apple to me. They're kind of like a sandbagger, like, oh man, this quarter is going to be awful. Breaking news, this quarter was the best ever. So it seems like every year that Amazon has said, oh, I don't know, it's kind of looking tough this year, they blow it out of the water. So there's a little free for you. Yeah, I'll show you the XLY as well. So, and actually, let's just compare these two real quick, XLY versus Amazon. There you go. So there's Amazon, the green line, and there's the XLY. They kind of look alike, but clearly Amazon, the stock itself, is outperforming the ETF. Why? Because we had other things in there, like Starbucks that was closed in China for 2 months, or Nike that suspended worldwide operations. So obviously, Amazon's going to be outperforming that a little bit. But you can see it kind of does fly formation. Well, you know, and since I do want to brief you on how to get in this service, me currently, the trade I would be looking at, first of all, would be I am going to close. I have an order in to close this one. Look at that, 70% in a day, $2,900. That is some good living. I'd do another Amazon bull put spread. What's the top of that? 24. I like 24.50. Let's take a look at. Let's go out to Friday. And just strategically, folks, the fact that Uncle Jerome and Steve Mnuchin didn't do anything to the market today, obviously they both were testifying, not on Capitol Hill, they were testifying on Zoom. They really didn't spook. It wasn't, I'll put it this way, in the absence of horrific news, the market's going up, okay? And it's three letters Y. F-E-D. It's the Fed, folks. That's the only reason this market is going up and will keep going up, is the Fed. Okay? But anyway, that's kind of my strategic mindset for the rest of the week. Let's take a look at a 24.50, 24.45. Hold on, let me see what the risk of this trade would be. Yeah, it's right around what I'd like to do. Maybe, what's 20 contracts? I'll explain the trade in a second. Yeah, that's a little north of my risk. I'm playing with this here. All right, so here's what I want to do. I'm bullish on Amazon. I'm going to use puts, and this is a spread. This tactic is called a bull put spread. It's also called a credit spread. If you look down here, I'm getting paid to do this trade. I'm bringing in a credit of $2,700. Here's the tactic. I'm going to sell 15, why 15? Give me 2 minutes, of Fridays, that's May 22nd, 24.50 put. That kind of looks like it's the support, the 24.50, 20, it's kind of the ebb and flow point, right? And Amazon is a magnet stock. What do I mean by that? It likes round numbers. It likes 2,500, 24.50, 2,400. It doesn't like sitting in the middle here at 24.77 by Friday. I guarantee you. I know dudes who all they trade is Amazon. So it's so I like the 24.50 for the week. So selling these puts is me saying, hey, Amazon, yeah, what's up, Whiz? I don't think you're going to be below 24.50 by Friday. Okay, dude, well, what if you're wrong? Well, if I'm wrong, I'm going to buy these downside puts, these 24.45 puts. So if Amazon just decides to, the air just comes out of the balloon this week for whatever reason, we are long Amazon underneath 24.45, right? $1.80. Now, in my service, I put out a range, meaning, you know what, I try to get filled on this trade plus or minus 10 cents, meaning I'd go up to $1.90 and maybe as low as $1.70. So I send out text and email alerts, during the briefs or outside of the briefs, whenever I'm seeing any issues. Okay, so plus or minus 10 cents. Okay. Hold on, let me erase that. Okay, now I'm going to teach you when you come here to Top Gun Options to do one thing and one thing only when I click. You see where it says right here, snapshot analysis? I'm going to train you, just like Pavlov's dog, man, to look at one place and one place only when I click on this, and that is max potential loss. I want you to look at the sad face, okay? You ready? Look at the sad face right here. Max potential loss. Well, why'd you do that, man? I wanted to, that's because you shouldn't be, the only place you should be looking ever when you analyze a trade first is your risk. When I was a fighter pilot or an options trader, how can I get my rear end kicked today? Is that acceptable? Do I accept that that is the max? Whoa, that's way too much. Then don't do 15 contracts. That's not enough. I don't mind risking 10 grand. Knock yourself out. That would be 30 I can't tell you what, I don't tell you what to do. I'm not a risk or investment advisor, broker, dealer. You're standing on the floor of the SIBO, getting the peek over my shoulder, folks, and watch what a professional trader would be doing. So the max potential loss is $4,800 for 15 contracts. Once you're an aviator, man. This is a checklist. Once you put a check there and go, I acknowledge this. Whiz, I am the PIC. I am the pilot in command of my portfolio. I acknowledge that risk. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can bring your eyes up to Mr. or Mrs. or gender neutral happy face and look at max profit. $2,700. Okay? The reason I was and I talked when John and Pete, Nigerian owned Trade Monster, I'm like, dude, you guys got to put the sad face up here, man. That's like, nah, it's for marketing. And I'm like, nah, it's stupid. But they were bigger than me and could beat the shit out of me, so I didn't call them stupid to their face. But you know what I'm saying? Everybody acknowledge that, right? You have to look at your max risk first. If this is not acceptable to you, you can't do it. It bugs me, man, when we weren't in prison and I used to travel around the country, around the world, and I'd bump into, oh, I'm a trader too, and I'm in this trade. And I'd always look at the person and go, that's great. What's your max loss? Well, no, I'm up a couple. That's not what I'm asking you. When are you getting out? How much can you lose? Right? So now these underneath here, it says probabilities. Using at the money volatility in Amazon options, this trade has a 66% probability of making that max profit, a 67% probability of at least breaking even. I love this type of trade, this credit spread, because we make money 3 out of 4 ways. I like hearing that. Right here, and you see a dotted line? That's the price of Amazon as I'm speaking to you. How do we make money in this trade, Whiz? Amazon goes up. Duh. Amazon can hang out, folks. What if it just kind of stalls here? Perfect, we make money. Folks, Amazon can even go down a little bit as long as it stays above that break even, 24.48.20. The only way this trade loses money is if it blows through our break even to the downside. And I am not going to let that happen, or at least fly that airplane into the dirt. What do I mean? In my trade alerts and in my briefs, I put out what I call the eject point, meaning when would I pull the handle, the ejection handle, and get out of this trade? I don't want to suffer that max loss. You know what Uncle Whiz's guidance is? I'm a political science major, man, right? And an aviator. I use acronyms. I need basic math. I simply double the credit that I take in. If I take in $1.80 credit on this trade, I double that and say $3.60. If Amazon starts rolling over and this hits $3.60, I take off my oxygen mask, I scratch my chin, and I look at the screen and go, why is this thing going down, and should I get out of it now? Are the reasons I got into this trade still valid? Nope. Eject. Give the jet back to the taxpayers. If the trade's going against me and the criteria are still valid, I don't eject. I grab my cigar, put my scarf out the cockpit window, and I try and I'm sticking with the airplane, baby. Okay? Bull, put, spread. When would I close this trade? 7, 8, 9. I just showed you one that I'm in right now. If I'm looking at a 70, 80, or 90% profit on the credit that I take in, I get out of it. Why not 100? Folks, pigs get slaughtered. I'm telling you, man, I've done this a couple times in my trading career, and I've kicked myself every time. And some of you probably have. How many of you have been in a 70, 80, 90% winning trade, and you turn a 70, 80, 90% winning trade into a 100% loser? How's that happen? Thursday comes along. I'm up 90% in this trade. You know what? There's still a couple $100 in here to make. I want that couple $100. Friday comes around. Breaking news, Jeff Bezos is on an airplane to the Caymans with all the company's money, stocks down, $300. Boom. I'm not joking, folks. That stuff can happen, right? So do not turn a 70, 80, 90% winning trade into a 100% loser. I know that sounds like common sense. It ain't necessarily that common. Look at the top of my slide here. What's that say? Discipline, risk management, that equals superior execution. Discipline, risk management, superior execution. That's how you live to fight another day, right? So what I want to do is introduce you to this service. Actually, it's called Solo Amazon. My God, what a huge marketing department. Well, no, that's what it is. We trade Amazon in here, but we also trade XLY, as I explained. Because when I look at a long-term bullish trade on Amazon, buying one call contract on Amazon could be pretty damn pricey. Well, but that's the point, folks. That's why it's called Solo Amazon. You might be targeting all your firepower into this, folks. Absolutely. Remember, Warren Buffett, diversification is for people who don't know what they're doing. Amazon is diversified. I'm not going to go through all that stuff again. I'll tell you how to jump on board. It's our newest live trading service here at Top Gun Options. The live trade briefs are normally $167 a month. We do 4 briefs throughout the week. This one, since it's only concentrating on Amazon, it's only $97 a month. I know Anchor and I are down here in Boca Raton. I think I'm going to try and venture out tonight and see if there's any bar open and have a drink somewhere like a human being. And I guarantee you down in South Florida, a couple drinks is going to be more than $97 a month. So for a round of drinks, you can join this service for a month. It's a no-brainer. There's the link. It's kind of long. I can post it in the chat box or something like that. I got to make that shorter, but it's kind of intuitive. TopGunOptions.com/solo-Amazon-monthly. And if you wanted to do get a 25% discount, instead of putting monthly at the end, you just put annual, right? I can show you I got to update that. That's February's. This service is up like 90 grand year to date. This is old. That's February's portfolio. And I just showed you a profitable one-day trade up, what was that, $2,900 since yesterday. So we're having a blast in this Solo Amazon portfolio. Hey, Whiz, every Monday at 2 o'clock, I'm in a Zoom meeting or something like that. I can't attend. Well, folks, 80% of our members work and can attend. Guess what they do? They get an email with the screenshot of the trade, and they get a text alert. It's like redundancy. You get 2 things. You get a time-sensitive text alert, and you get an email alert. There's an example of what the email would look like. It has a screenshot of the trade, the legs, the price, the everything, and the risk. Here's the potential risk. Here's the potential profit, everything like that. This is great stuff. And guess what happens after I hit stop recording? It takes about, 30, 40 minutes for the replay to render. It's posted on the replay page. So some folks watch even though they attended live, they watch it again, because sometimes, you can pick up different things, or other people just, hey man, kids are in bed and I'm going to watch the replay. I couldn't attend today. You're also going to get today, if you sign up, access to our proprietary materials. What do I mean by that? These are, you need these, man. These are your flight manuals: primary, intermediate, advanced. 197 bucks. If you went to our website right now, it would be 197 bucks for those. Wait, hold on a second, dude. You're charging me 97 for a month, but these manuals are 197. Yeah, cha-ching, that's 100 bucks you're saving. Put that 100 bucks back in your pocket and go get a nice dinner. Isn't that awesome? These manuals themselves cost more than the service. That's what the marketing dudes told me. They're like, you make it an irresistible offer. Once you get in the door, folks, you're going to see the power of this service. That's why I'm doing it, and I'm hooking Anka and David up here with a fantastic deal. Yep, let me finish up here, and then I'll clean up with some questions. You guys got some great questions here. So you're going to get access to our solo Amazon live trade brief, the text and email alerts, the skill-based manuals, ready interactive, where in between, trade briefs, you can ask me a question. Usually the fellow members are in there in questions, and it's a if I heard Faust saying the same thing. Yeah, trading, alone sucks. Trading solo, so to speak, sucks. You really do need somebody to be able to help red team you, bounce ideas off of and stuff like that. So we'll give you access to the ready room. Check out how Parmar did. Made $200,000 Amazon on 20 call contracts. That's just epic. Kevin, Amazon synthetic stock late to enter, up 200%, paid $8,000. Now 24. Greg's been doing the Amazon thing for a couple years. He's just, a 2020 that he had was up 49.5, and the total value of that one and his 2021 position, 144 grand. I love the last part of his statement. I don't need much more. I love that when dudes are like, dude, I'm good. 144 grand on these two trades is pretty damn good. David did Amazon TGO synthetic stock 2 months ago, up $42,000. Diane up 70 grand with one contract. I mean, this is just this is awesome. Wayne, I listened to Whiz. Here was a free brief. I listened to Whiz's free Amazon brief today. I had been a solo Amazon subscriber for a while. Here's a bit of information for Whiz to pass on to new potential members. In July 2019, I had one contract. This is the power of even just doing one contract, folks, right? It was synthetic stock at 2010 with a $1,600 protective put. I sold it in January and made about $6,000. I just looked at it today. If I had hung on to it, I could sell that synthetic position and protective put for allow me to round up. It would be round up today, but when was this? This was May 1st. $34,000. Wow. It motivated me to get another synthetic on. Cost about $3,000, expiring 2021. So I'll teach you how to do this stuff, folks, even if that's why I'm giving you the manuals. Even if you don't know what the hell synthetic stock is, or a call or a put, that's what I'm here for. Top Gun Options is all about financial training. We're here to train you how to do this stuff. So solo Amazon, 97 bucks a month. If you want to do the annual, we'll go ahead and give you a 25% discount today, because we like we have motivated individuals here. So yeah, let me go to the page and show you the link, because it is oops, sorry about that, screen share. Let's go to here, and then I'll just show you the solo Amazon. There it is. All right, yeah, it's topgunoptions.com/solo-Amazon-monthly. All right, now let me answer some questions here. Oh, thanks, David. What kind of ammo account size to be able to pull this off? Jansen, it's a good question. You can open a brokerage account for as little as $1,000, and I think E-Trade it's like $2,000 for margin. So very small amount. I mean, we literally have little old ladies in tennis shoes type of thing. We have people with very large accounts, people with very small accounts. Like I said, I can't give you investment advice, so I couldn't tell, not knowing what your risk tolerance is or how much, it's very, that's why we don't give individual investment advice. But Jensen, one of the things that I strongly recommend is before you put any capital ever to risk, you trade in a paper trading account. Just about every broker has a paper trading platform where you can test all this stuff out, man. I never ran out to the F-18 Hornet without flying a simulator, right? I never went to the aircraft carrier at night without flying it in the simulator. So we did all the stuff in the simulator first before we ever put our little pink rear ends at risk. So I strongly recommend you do that. Mark, Whiz, great solo presentation, XLY play. Mark, I got 5 minutes. I think the XLY play would be that seasonal trade right now. I mean, XLY is looking pretty solid. I do a similar bull put spread on XLY. We'll cover that in our next brief here. SP, so will you teach credit spreads at each brief, sir? I do. So I kind of, we just looked at that bull put spread, SP. So this morning we did another Amazon bull put spread, and it took, I think I took about 20 to 25 minutes to go through that tactic, step by step, line by line, because it's about the training. You're not going to sit on the dock with your mouth open like a seal in San Francisco Harbor just getting trade ideas. It's not what I do. I train. So I will teach you what a credit spread is, when to potentially eject, so yes, this is about the training. So yeah, good question. Yeah, well, it's, folks, this is, I get while people are trading with their hearts now, not their head. Folks, ladies, head rhymes with what? Fed. Ladies and gentlemen, I work out a couple times a day. I am not strong enough to fight the Federal Reserve. I get it, man. But you write this down, get it tattooed on your forehead. The stock market is not the economy. Period. It's brutal. I got buddies who own restaurants in Fort Lauderdale that will never open again. They're talking about declaring bankruptcy. It's awful out there. The stock market doesn't care. It's bad. So I get it, but ladies and gentlemen, if Jeffrey Gunlock, I respect, from Double Line Capital, he's saying, we're going to retest these March lows. You don't want to retest the March lows. If we retest the March lows, then we're all in a lot of trouble. We will be in a lot of trouble if this market implodes, because that means that $10 trillion, I don't think I can count that high. That means that $10 trillion didn't work, and that will be bad. I've appreciated your videos since January and remained on the right side. Good job, man. Pixel 3XL, do we need capital available for margin on these credit spreads, please? Pixel, again, that's between you and your broker. If you want to trade larger credit spreads, you probably do on margin. I got a lot of buddies. For years, I didn't trade on margin. I'd never take a loan from somebody. Now, I like trading on margin just because I know what the hell I'm doing. So it's a good question, but you can do whatever you need to do, is kind of what I'm saying there. Yeah, I can give you I think it's just annual. Let me find the annual one for you, man. Solo annual, I think that's it. Yeah, if you want the 25% discount, I'll give it to you right now. Good question. Yeah, it's definitely a better deal. TopGunOptions.com/solo annual. So there it is, guys, right here. TopGunOptions.com/solo annual. That's an easier one to remember. It's actually less of a, I got to fix these URLs. That's kind of stupid to have them that painful. Okay. Good stuff. I got 1 minute left. There you go. So I'll send that to you. So there you go. Solo annual. I appreciate it, David. I am going to jump out of the way, though. I like to be on time, on target, just like we did in the F-18. Trading's a form of combat, folks. Somebody's going to win and somebody's not. And at Top Gun Options, I'm going to teach you to be on the right side of the trade. So Anka, David, thank you so much for having me, my friends, and I hope you guys invite me back. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless you guys. I'll talk to you later.